Welcome to the Kennedy Profession, ladies and gentlemen. Special day. Not only is it the Canadian election, but we're actually doing a live stream for the next 20 minutes or so on the meaning of Catholic. So if you're watching us there, you can see I'm sitting, well, truth be told, I'm sitting in front of a green screen. We're in a transition period right now, going to my new residence in a few weeks where I'll have a much better visual setup. But right now, as I sit in this basement dungeon, we have the palatial library behind me. That's something I looked up when I found Oxford Library. I think Oxford is now as liberal as any other institution, but I like to believe that it's the same place that C.S. Lewis went to. And I found a picture of the library that I think looks pretty good on this green screen. You can see my my cupboards to, I guess, my right and your left if you're looking at me. Anyway, this is the Kennedy Profession here on the Crusade channel. This is the last live radio station standing. If you do like what you're hearing here on the live stream, please go to crusadechannel.com/Kennedy and don't be afraid to sign up. You don't have to drink that many soy green tea lattes each month. In fact, you don't have to drink them at all. And if you do drink them, you should stop for a lot of different reasons. And one of those reasons is because for $10 a month, you can listen to unadulterated, uncensored, faithful, I hope intelligent, and at least a little bit articulate commentary about goings-on in society and the church on the Crusade channel, which is the best radio station around and the last live radio station standing. Well, lots to get to in the next 18 minutes, my friends. It's happened. Canada is leading the world in a bad way. An archbishop of the Diocese of Moncton has banned the faithful from going to Mass unless they take the vaccine. You know which vaccine I'm talking about? I imagine you do. There is only one vaccine nowadays, my friends. It is the vaccine. Catholics have been banned from going to Mass. You're hearing me right. You cannot go to Mass in the Diocese of Moncton, which encompasses most of New Brunswick. It's a beautiful province. My wife has family from there. It's a gorgeous place. It's picturesque and astonishing nature. I kind of joke, if you go to the river, there's lots of rivers there, but if you go to the rivers up in the hills, it looks like you're in a beer commercial. It looks like something you'd see where you put down a pack of Molson Canadian and put it down on the nice rolling waters and little tiny waterfalls and the slippery rocks and all that sort of stuff. It's an absolutely gorgeous place, and it has a great Catholic history. New Brunswick, Nouvelle-Brunswick, is a very French-Canadian place. This is where the Acadians are from. Mr. Mike Church has ancestry that hails from there, as do many people in the Cajun, i.e. Acadian region of Louisiana, La Louisiane, and historically has been a great place for Catholicism. Well, no more, my friends. The bishop has said if you have not taken both jabs that you cannot go to church. If you haven't taken both jabs, you cannot go to church. That is what has happened. I have an article here from LifeSite that I wrote along with one of my editrix. That's female editor, by the way. And he said, beginning Wednesday, September 22nd, at any gathering inside our churches, rectories, or community centers under our supervision, those present must be doubly vaccinated. Now, you're thinking to yourself, there's no way this has to do with attending the Holy Mass, which under normal circumstances, you're required to do under pain of sin. One of the 10 commandments, of course, is keep the Lord's Day holy, and how the church has instantiated that is with the Sunday obligation. Obviously, if it's impossible to go to Mass, you don't mortally sin if you can't go to Mass. That could be for reasons of physical impossibility, like you're too far or the weather is too bad. I mean, it's common around where I live, lots of snow in the snow belt of southwestern Ontario. Sometimes if you got to drive even 20 minutes to church, it's not about the distance, it's about the fact that you just can't see 5 feet in front of you. You can't go to Mass. Obviously, that's not a sin. Could be that your car breaks down. Could be that you can't go for reasons of taking care of loved ones. It could be that you have to work. Your job requires it, and it's how you provide for your family. And you got to work one Sunday a month or something. Those things happen, and those are things you work out with your priest. But under normal circumstances, you're required to go to Mass. Now, you could be dispensed for reasons of pandemics, etc., under the normal sense of the word. And it's also happened a lot in the last 19 months, as we know. Some places have not reinstantiated their Sunday obligation. I don't think the diocese that I live in has, and I don't know if they ever have any intention to be honest. In any case, that's neither here nor there. Well, the Diocese of New Brunswick has said that you can't go unless you're double vaccinated. Now, I don't know if that diocese has officially stated that people are exempt from going to Mass. They're definitely not exempt from the you-know-what, from the jab. They're not going to get a religious exemption in New Brunswick because the bishop is making it a part of the religion at this point. But I guess they are under they have a dispensation. I don't know. It hasn't made it clear. Maybe they don't have obligation right now. A lot of places have never brought their Sunday obligation back. So the Diocese of New Brunswick has said you can't go. Now, these gatherings. Now, see, the thing is, a lot of places, I know, for example, that in the Diocese of London, well, pretty much every diocese in Ontario, and I imagine this will probably come to a diocese near me very quickly. And if I could, I'd like to get on my Society of St. Pius X soapbox here for a second. Everyone is dealing with this stuff. The priests of the SSPX will deal with it the best way that they can, just like everybody. But I can tell you that there is an order of priests to obey God over man. And if you're having issues like this, they are people that they are a group of priests that you can consult. So, at any rate, the gatherings include, or I should continue, sorry. In Ontario, so far, there's no ban against actually going to Mass because you're not vaccinated. However, there are bans against having receptions and things like that within these various parish halls because those places count as meeting spaces. So you can't go into the meeting space and have a party on parish property, but you can, of course, go to Mass as far as I seem to be having some camera difficulties on the live stream. Maybe if it's coming through, let me know in the chat there if it is still coming through. If it is, that's fine. It says it's still streaming. So if there's no issues on your end, then I'm fine with it. In any case, you can hear me though on the radio because we never have issues like this because we have a little bit better of a technological setup than just YouTube. In any case, no, the cam. Yes, no cam at the moment. Well, that's annoying. Well, I'm going to have to bring myself out and come back in. You guys can hear me. Well, that's irritating that that's happened. Well, nothing I can really do about it. So the diocese has said you can't come to Mass. They have said any religious gathering in the church, is you have to have your double vaccination for that. I don't really know how that's possible. I mean, I don't know how you can call yourself a Prince of the Apostles. How on earth can you call yourself a Prince of the Apostles and say, there you go, the camera's working. How on earth can you call yourself a Prince of the Apostles? And Patty Leather says, it sound perfect. Well, I don't know if I sound perfect, but thank you. How can you call yourself a Prince of the Apostles if you're not going to allow people to come into your church? I emailed Faith Formation as part of the Diocese of New Brunswick today. I was hoping to get their comment. They never wrote back, shocker. To be honest, I mean, I don't know if I feel bad for people anymore. That might sound a little bit harsh. I don't know if I feel bad for the people who work for these institutions. I'm not really sure what to do with that. At a certain point, if you work for one of these do you have the Catholic faith? I'm just asking. I'm not imputing any blame, and I know everyone has their lines, but do you have the Catholic faith if you work in a chancery office and you're sitting there and you're sending out this email for the bishop, or you're helping him edit it, or you're printing it and sending it out in the bulletin or something, and you see, oh, no jab, no Eucharist. I don't know if I have sympathy for someone who does that. I'm not trying to be alarmist or whatever. I'm not trying to just be somebody who's harsh about it, but I really don't know what to think about that, because at a certain point, is your conscience dead, or do you have no virtue? Which is it? If you work at, seriously, if you work at, if you know someone who works at a chancery office and they know that their bishop is doing this, do they still think that that's Catholic? I'm not talking about official. Yeah, you're baptized. I'm just mean in the sense of, it's more than that. This is why we have to, when you're a godparent, you have to basically answer a questionnaire, in a sense, a statement of faith of what you believe, so that way you can be a legitimate sponsor to the baptism. Obviously, you're baptized, but it's more than that. It's always been more than that. Is this bishop still Catholic? It's actually pretty gross as well how they came to this decision. So anyone who enters the church for any gathering has to be vaccinated. You could be someone who works for the church. You're a repairman or something. You're a groundskeeper. You could be in there all day, every day, fixing the whatever. But if you're not vaccinated, you can't go to mass in that church on Sunday. Think about that for a second. Isn't that insane? The Archbishop stipulated that gatherings include religious celebrations, which means Sunday and weekly masses, prayer meetings, baptisms, weddings and funerals, confirmation, first reconciliation, and first communion, parish and pastoral meetings, catechesis meetings, management meetings, conference, workshops, fraternal and social meetings, etc., etc., etc. Currently, you can't be vaccinated under 12, so you're not required to be vaccinated. Currently. What is he going to do if they can be? So, first reconciliation is canceled if you're not vaccinated. I guess kids under 12 receive first reconciliation, so your first confession. But it doesn't say. I called and I emailed the diocese about 3 times. I called today, never got an answer. I mean, they're probably overwhelmed with calls with what's happening. I emailed and I literally asked, I said, can someone come receive absolution if they're not vaccinated? It's not clear. Now, I would imagine there are priests who are going to opt for absolution. Thanks be to God. But if you're an unvaccinated Catholic in New Brunswick, most of the province, because the diocese might encompass the whole the province. Actually, I'm not sure. It's probably one for Fredericton as well. Can you be Catholic in New Brunswick anymore under the bishop? Now, what's really crazy about this? Catholics normally have an obligation to go to mass, as you know, but they can't go. Now, the impetus for banning quote-unquote unvaccinated Catholics from mass came from the provincial government. The Archbishop recounted that New Brunswick's Minister of Health, Dorothy Shepherd, had met with religious leaders in the province following the announcement of the new measures regarding the pandemic, and that although there is no mandate for proof of vaccination for religious gatherings, it's not against the law. But this woman wishes to have gatherings of fully vaccinated people to keep people safe and act as an incentive for the unvaccinated. It's not the law. And a woman who is not, well, obviously not a priest, although this bishop probably wants women to be priests, said that she wishes that this would happen. So the bishop obliged. And what's crazy about this too is this is just so bad from root to fruit. It met with religious leaders, not just the church, but just met with all the religious leaders. So whatever, we're all Rastafarians, Catholic bishops. It's all good, man. We'll just get vaccinated, bro. Look up the side effects, my friends. And even besides that, even if there were no side effects, this is still insane. This could be if this was a flu shot, let's honestly take all the potential take it all out of it. Just don't even think about that. Just the morality. Could be the measles vaccine, whatever vaccine. I don't care. If you can't come in, you can't go receive Jesus Christ in the Eucharist unless you're vaccinated. That reminds me of something that I heard in the gospel. I'm kidding. Where Jesus said, unless you are double vaccinated and you receive communion on the hand, you have no life within you. That's probably something Satan said, though, actually, eh? Now, what's interesting is they don't have to wear masks or sanitize. That's up to the person. And the bishop said that he wanted to do this because he wanted to help get vaccinations going. Also, for the next few weeks, the Archbishop has instructed several volunteers to be at the doors of each church, because that's what you love when you go to church. You love to register, right? And I understand registration has happened, but you want to have several volunteers asking you to show a medical certification and your driver's license so you can go see Jesus. This is insane, folks. It's absolutely insane. And you know what's crazy too? His words. Be at the doors of each church to ask worshipers. This is like Barack Obama, Easter worshipers. Are they called parishioners? Are they called Catholics or just called worshipers? Once you're on the list, you don't have to provide your information next time, but a new person coming to your... Now, you can't go... Let's just say you were in New Brunswick and you wanted to go become Catholic because you didn't listen to these silly... And listen, sure, is he a bishop? Yeah. But at this point, my friends, if you think that you have any virtue by obeying this man, I can't help you. I don't want to get into the whole obedience thing too much right now. But if anyone says, well, obedience, no, just, you know what, take a hike. Go jump in a lake. Honestly, that's just nuts. You've lost your mind if you think that obedience has something to do with can your bishop tell you how many pigs you're supposed to slaughter on your farm too? Can your bishop tell you what type of bicycle helmet you ought to wear? Can your bishop tell you how many Advils you're supposed to take when you sprain your ankle? And if you don't listen to him, are you some sort of schismatic? Are you a disobedient Catholic? Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. What's happening in New Brunswick is the work of Satan. And this bishop needs a lot of prayers because there was a bishop who did the work of Satan and he ended up hanging himself just before the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. If you're a Catholic right now, if you're somebody who wants to be Catholic in New Brunswick right now, you can't go to RCIA. Maybe that's a good thing because it's probably bad. There is a place. I'm going to put it in the comments here just before I sign off because you got to go to crusadechannel.com/Kennedy to hear the rest after the break. There is a bishop, there is a priest, an independent traditional priest. He's not in schism. I know of the man personally. I guess it won't work in the comments there. Oh, it did. Sorry, just not on the Periscope. And he is a traditional Catholic priest. He was ordained in the SSPX. He went resistance for a bit, neither here nor there. Now he's not. He's totally fine. There's no schism or any penalty on him or anything. He has a wonderful retreat center and a place, and he is a man of God. His name is Father Roy, French and English, Père Roy, and he is in the Moncton area. I know people in New Brunswick. Message me. Find my stuff through kennedyhall.ca. If you're from New Brunswick, I'll try to help you. You're listening to the Kennedy Profession on the Crusade channel. I hear the music. Got to go to crusadechannel.com/Kennedy to sign up if you're on the live stream right now. I'll talk to you soon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Crusade channel, the last live radio station standing.